Hello, you're watching Bearwood West Yard, and today I'm going to be bringing you a how-to video on getting Peco LK62 platform edging from a factory finish to a grimy, weathered condition. I've selected the paint that we're going to be using. These are acrylic paints from the Humbrol range. These are paint number 63, which is sand matte, and 93, which is desert yellow. Right, so I've opened number 63 and I'm going to be taking some of the paint from the lid because I find that this stuff actually dries better as a base coat. So what I'm going to do is paint very roughly. You don't need a lot of paint on your brush, and you'll see that you only need to do it very, very, very roughly. So if I just hold that up to the camera, try and get it in focus. See, you'll notice that it's quite rough and it would look really unneat, and it looks like it's more of a wash than it is actually a coat of paint, and that's exactly what you want. And the reason why that's what you want, you'll see at the very end of the video. So if you continue, so if you watch as I continue, I don't put too much paint. Don't put too much paint on my brush. Swirl it on. Make sure that you can see the plastic clear as day beneath it. Because of the light, I don't know whether you'll be able to see it very well, but you'll definitely be able to see in the third one along that it's a very, very thin layer, and that is exactly what you want. I've changed the lighting position so that you can now see a bit clearer what the brush strokes look like. That is the base coat wash, as it would probably be best to refer to it as. I've also included the wash on the pillars themselves. This is alright to do, mainly because it provides the pillars with a priming for when number 93 is added later on. Now that number 63 has dried, if you apply some more, and you can do it, you only need, well, you can use quite a bit on your brush this time. So you must do it in a vertical movement, otherwise you lose the effect that the wash produced. Make sure that you get it in all the edges and corners. If you do get it on the pillars, don't worry about it. It's not any bother because you're going to be painting it over it with number 93 a little bit later on. So if you wait for that to dry, I'm going to be continuing with this all the way along. So I will see you in a minute. Right, so you can see that on the right hand side of the edging I've put on the second coat of 63, whereas on the left hand side I've only done the wash. You'll see that because the wash is very thin, that on several sections it actually shines through the second coat, and this is exactly what you want. So when you're painting the second coat on, you need to make sure that you get that really thin so that when it's dried you can see the original first coat straight through it. So if you can't see the original cream coloured plastic, then you're doing it wrong, of which I can't really say you're doing it wrong because you can always repaint it, you can always take it off using a tissue and a little bit of force. That always works, but it's something that you can practice over and over, even on the back of the pieces as well if you want to, because it's the same stuff, so it's great for practicing on, of which is something that I did originally, because I started the original pieces that I did this on are currently on my layout. I will be doing a layout update on that in February. So let's get down to finishing the second coat. Okay, so now I have completed the second coat of number 63. I've also put one coat on the slabs at the top. Now that they have dried, you should be able to see that there's a lot of streaking on the concrete panels. That is exactly what you want, and in fact that is the finished panel effect. So I'm now going to get on with doing the second coat on the slabs, and then we will get on to doing number 93. Again, it doesn't really matter what you put on for the second coat. I just put on, well, not as much as possible because you don't want to produce a lot of waste, but if you do it this time in a longitudinal fashion, you don't actually get paint in the part between the slabs, which is pretty good for realism as well, because you'd usually have a gap between the slabs, so it's just that little bit more prototypical. If you do get paint in the middle between the slabs, it's no big problem, because if worst comes to worst, you can always put a little bit of grey or some form of paint anyway, whatever's to your liking, down there to make it look like it's cement or whatever that's joining it, whether it's tar, cement, or even more concrete. Right, I will let you join me again when I've done the second coat on the slabs and I'm ready to do painting with umbrella number 93. Okay, so I've opened the pot of number 93 and I think we're ready to start on the... right, okay. So you don't need, well, because you're only doing one layer of this stuff, you only really need, well, you can use a thick layer actually, but you don't want too much on your brush, because where it's a dark paint itself, you actually require not a lot for it to come up. Sometimes you struggle to get paint on the brush, considering there's such a large brush that you want a small cert, but it's a small area that you're painting. I would recommend actually that you only do this if you have a really steady hand, because there are quite a few areas on here where you can go wrong quite easily, and at this point you're pretty much at the point of no return, because you're using a darker colour and there's no real way of getting out of it. Before people ask, and I've had questions about this on Snapchat when I've been doing stuff like this as well, these are Humbrol brushes, of which I've collected over the years from when I've done model kits, as these come with the starter packs or the gift sets. They come with both, but also if you do get any of number 93 in places that you don't want to, don't worry about it. You can just use your finger or something to wipe it off. I wouldn't bother with a tissue because it just smudges. Right, now that's looking okay. Sorry for the out of focus there. I'm actually using Zoom on my phone at the moment. I think that's a bit better now. That's zoomed out a bit. It's hard to keep track of making sure it's in focus, as well as when you're trying to paint, is you don't want anything to go anywhere that you don't want it to go. So I will let you join me again when it is almost done. Right, I'm back. I've finished painting with number 93 and it has dried. So you can now see what the weathered, or what should be weathered, concrete looks like. I've tried to replicate this using the paints that I had, of which, you know, number 63 and 93. I didn't pick them up specially to do this. They were just what I had. The effect looked pretty good, so I thought I'd share it with you guys. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, then feel free to give me a like or give me a positive comment. If you didn't find this useful, or you found that there was somewhere that I could improve, then please also leave a comment so that I can improve on that and I can get better. So thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next video.